My name is Vanessa Marsh, and I'm part of the exhibition Western Wave, which includes myself and Joni Sternbach, and I'm based in Portland, Oregon. I'm a photographer that works with a photogram-based process. So I lay mostly drawings and paintings and cut paper onto light-sensitive materials and then expose those materials to light. The two bodies of work that are in this show include a set of lumen photograms, which is taking traditional black and white darkroom paper, and I lay cut paper masks on top of that paper and then expose it to sunlight. And the other body of work is a set of wet plate collodion photograms. And in that case, I layer drawings that I've made on clear mylar on top of the wet plate in the darkroom and then expose it to light. The lumen photograms, the title of the series is The Sun Beneath the Sky. And so for that body of work, I'm taking the subject of the mountain ranges of the western United States and thinking about those in terms of the fragility of the earth and of the landscape. And so I'm trying to take like a very solid seeming form and make it very ethereal and more fragile. And then using the sun to create the images, so using the sun and the atmosphere like as a collaborator essentially to make the images. Further to Fly, that series was to create some work that was a memorial to my father, who became terminally ill when he was on vacation in Palm Springs. And so while he was there, I took many hours, many long walks taking photographs of the landscape in Palm Springs. And after he passed away, I translated those images into drawings on mylar. It was sort of my way of coping, was like making this work. And then I researched different photographic forms to find one that had historically been used as memento mori, which is the idea of like taking a picture of a loved one or some element of that loved one. And so I used the drawings in combination with the tintype to memorialize that sort of time that I had with my dad. Further to Fly refers to a Paul Simon song that was one of my dad's favorites. And the song itself speaks of memory and life and the journey through life. So that's why I chose that title. One of the newer pieces I made for the exhibit is called Black Peak 4 from Pelican Butte. I wanted to highlight that piece. It's a larger piece, a diptych. And those are always challenging for me because I have to expose the two sheets of paper at the same time. And it involves laying down these really big cut paper masks that are larger than the image, laying those down and having it very stable on the paper, like so there's no sunlight, it's all very flat. And then I have to have that covered, take it outside and sort of flash the paper by moving this big cover of dark paper that's on top of it. I also wanted to talk about the title, Black Peak 4 from Pelican Butte. So around this time, about 6 months ago, I changed my naming process a little bit, and I decided to include fire lookouts in the titles of the pieces. And so I look at this list. I found this amazing list online that lists all these different fire lookouts, like historical fire lookouts in the American West. And a lot of them are no longer, which is interesting. Even though our wildfires are now like so much worse, you'd think there'd be more and more kind of people watching out for these things, but there's actually less. And so that was like further highlighting this idea of these landscapes that we think of as so solid and so stable and so grand, and that we can kind of take from as we wish in terms of natural resources, that they're actually fragile landscapes that can be devastated by things like wildfire, especially because of the effects we've had on the planet.